Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Hi, Suzuka. It's nice to meet you. I'm really looking forward to our discussions today.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me here today. I'm so excited too.
Uh, it's, yeah, it's always exciting to have these conversations with young people like myself so that we can share our our ideas and what we think about the realm of nuclear non-proliferation and arms control.
Mhm.
So today we are having this conversation in light of the Nihon Hidankyo's Nobel Peace Prize.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to center our conversations around this issue. So as the hibakushas are aging, how do you see young activists like yourself continuing to carry their message and keep the memories of the atomic bombings alive?
Um, so like first of all, the reason why we have to convey the stories of hibakusha to the future is because those experiences could be a big help for good I mean could be a big study for us to choose whether to choose like our future, like living with nuclear weapons or without nuclear weapons. Like thinking the nuclear disarmament field without learning what happened after nuclear weapons were used. I guess we cannot like even choose whether we should have or like um yeah, we should have or not the nuclear weapons. So yeah, I guess that's the reason why we should learn and convey the stories of hibakusha to the future. Sorry, I guess you're mute.
Oh, and how has been the response like among young Japanese folks in regards to nuclear non-proliferation issues?
Sorry, I couldn't hear the first one. Could you repeat it again?
Oh, okay. I said, how has been the response among the young generation in Japan in regards to nuclear non-proliferation issues?
Yeah. Mm, to be honest, I would say not every young generation in Japan are willing very quick nuclear disarmament, I guess, because of the very difficult now the international politics are in a very difficult situation. So in a very realistic
Mhm.
point of view, some of them thinks that the country near Japan, like China or um, North Korea or Russia, which have nuclear weapons, could be a big
Mhm.
threat for us. So in this situation, it is much better for us to be under the nuclear umbrella of America. So I would say not all people, um, but on the other hand, like myself, other young people thinks that nuclear weapons should be eliminated in a very humanitarian point of view. Like, since because we know what happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki like 80 years ago. So like we think that that situation should be never repeated again. So like yeah, um I I didn't research it, but like there's both sides of young people thinking about the nuclear weapons. Yeah.
So there is a division between
Mhm.
those who support nuclear or the nuclear umbrella due
Mhm.
to security considerations. those who support disarmament because it's the right thing to do. I always find this road very challenging to navigate, where we have
Mm-hmm.
to also still think of security issues, which is
Mm-hmm.
where the deterrence conversation comes in, and the other side where we have to look at the uh, ethical issues around nuclear weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And to be caught in that debate, it's really challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So, what can we do to ensure that the experiences of the Ibukshas are not forgotten
Mm-hmm.
and the future generation remain aware of the human costs of nuclear weapons?
I guess that's very big question. They're a little bit hard for me to answer, but um I have a big will that like yeah, including the Nobel Peace Prize of the Hidankyo and like the activity for the nuclear disarmament, which are being held by us, are very powerful. That and like in every generation, there is a very big amount of people who have a big eager to
Mm,
contribute to the nuclear disarmament. And I know like very smart and nice people all over the world working for this nuclear
mm,
disarmament. So I have a big will
mm,
instead like even if the situation is very difficult. So like and yeah, like sorry, let me think a little bit. Like mm, um so even even people who support the nuclear umbrella thinks that
mm,
nuclear weapons should not be used again.
mm,
You know,
mm,
like we do have a same opinion in that sense. So
mm,
I think that we should like remind ourselves that the like we both think that nuclear weapons should be not used, but like
mm,
the process to eliminate whole nuclear weapons, the way of thinking is
mm,
very different. So like I think that we should have a like discussion table where those both sides of people could discuss together. Like now there's a big bubble on each side. Like
yeah.
like
Mm,
not both groups are discussing together, but they are being like in the same opinion, same group, and like seeing other groups as an enemy. So I
mhm,
guess like having a very useful discussion between those different opinion group,
opinions.
yeah, gonna be a very, very important step, I guess. Yeah.
Mm,
Sorry, it's
mm.
not a very clear answer, but
No, it is very clear. I understood your point, and I like how you mentioned the issue of the bubbles, the two
mm-hmm,
bubbles that exist at this point, where no one actually wants to hear the other side's
mm-hmm,
opinions because both sides are very uh, strong in their
mm-hmm,
opinions about if it's, let's say, if it's disarmament or
yeah,
if it's deterrence. Like no one wants to hear the other
mm-hmm,
side story.
mm-hmm,
But I think bottom line, the point, as you said, nuclear weapons should never be used again.
mm-hmm,
Like we have seen the atrocities that they caused, and with groups like Nihon Hidankyo,
mm-hmm,
they remind us that we should never get to a point where we use nuclear weapons ever. And staying on this topic, with their receipt of the Nobel Peace Prize
mm-hmm,
as a historic moment for the anti-nuclear movement, and considering also the global climate at at this specific time. From your perspective as an activist, what significance does this recognition hold for our generation, and how do you think it can inspire further action towards nuclear disarmament?
I guess that, as you mentioned, everyone will not deny that nuclear weapon should be not used again, never. Like, everyone could agree, and the message of hibakusha is that, I guess, like their messages are so universal, and like no one could deny, like they are only saying the like correct thing based on their experiences, being a like victim of atomic bomb. So that could be a very big point for us, like which could support the nuclear disarmament, and also it could be a very big motivation for us, like because like because hibakusha are saying that, like it could be like our opinion could be correct based on their experiences. Do you know? Does it make sense? Like, yeah. So
yes,
like even I totally understand how difficult the international politics and security are in a very difficult situation, even though that we should like move on toward the world without nuclear weapons, and always the words from hibakusha empowers us. So like I guess there's big power, and a big power for our young generation. So yeah, I guess that's my answer.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, thank you very much. On my side, this Nobel Peace Prize was very inspiring regimes and nuclear non-proliferation norms being stormed upon. It was momentous, like it was a momentous occasion to remind us that this should be a priority. We cannot let the arms control architecture continue to erode. We should fight every single day and fight in as much as we can to make sure that these nuclear non-proliferation norms and arms control measures remain intact and in place. So for me, this Nobel Peace Prize was the wake-up call that we actually need at this particular point. Because in the past year, I think since 2022, we have seen, since the start of the Ukraine war, Russia walking out of New START, walking out of the CTBTO, and the NPT not getting to a consensus for the sake. I think 2022 there was no consensus. Before that, there was also no consensus in 2015, which is very concerning. And also leading to 2026, there might also still not be consensus as well, considering the global climate that we're in. So this Nobel Peace Prize for me was just a wake-up call to say, yo, let's wake up. There is work that needs to be done here. Because if we continue sleeping, or if we continue on this path, we might end up in an area that we cannot come back from. So this, I think, for us, it's a reminder to always continue fighting for nuclear justice, nuclear non-proliferation, to make sure that these norms that we have at this moment continue and they stay intact.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was like in a bad internet connection. Now
Oh,
can
no,
you hear
problem.
me?
No worries. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. No worries, don't worry. So I was now asking, what challenges do you think young activists like us in the nuclear disarmament movement face today that are different from those faced by the original hibukshas and earlier generations of anti-nuclear advocates?
Oh, yeah. I, in my point of view, there's a lot of points that I want to talk about, but like since
Mm,
English is not my mother tongue, so I guess like um I cannot explain all thing, but
mm,
first is that maybe it's gonna be continued answer from the past one, but
mm,
since hibakusha do have their own experiences that nuclear weapons
mm,
are evil and inhuman weapons based on their experiences, but since we do not even know or have never um like we haven't seen nuclear weapons before, right? Like it's a top secret
mhm,
weapon, so like we cannot even see, touch, or feel the nuclear weapons. But even
mhm,
even though
mhm,
that we like recognize that there's like more than 12,000 nuclear weapons and there's a big risk very near us, like we
mhm,
have to fight with that and like yeah
mhm,
um so we do lack of experiences. So I guess that
mhm,
that's the
mhm,
very big difference between the hibakusha and our
mhm,
generation. So like
mhm,
that's why it was very, very important for us to work with them. But
mhm,
like in very near future, since hibakusha are getting old and like it's not a very far story for us to work without hibakusha. So like in this generation, like we should think the way of our activity and
mhm,
like yeah, we should think what can we talk or what can we do as our activity as an non-experienced people, I guess. Like that's
mhm,
the biggest
mhm,
difference for us. Yeah.
mhm.
Like but
Yeah.
what do you think about this? Like I guess this environment is very totally different between Japan and the other countries about this. So like
Mm.
I guess you were doing these
Yeah, I think
activities. Yeah.
mm, I think I do agree with you that for us at this moment, the I think the main issue is that for us, it's an abstract issue. Like we
Mm-hmm.
cannot, we work on
Mm-hmm.
it, but then we have not experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
We have not lived it.
Mm-hmm.
So with the Hibakshas, they experienced it. They experienced the atrocities.
Yeah, yeah.
So while our experiences are totally different,
Mm-hmm.
however, what we probably share
Mm-hmm.
is we have lived through the after effects
Mm-hmm.
of, let's say, issues around nuclear testing
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or environmental issues.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, so we have different experiences,
Mm-hmm.
but we have also inherited some of the effects as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think it's always very challenging
Mm-hmm.
to, especially to people who are not in this field,
Mm-hmm.
who don't deal with nuclear proliferation or arms control issues every single day, for
Mm-hmm.
them to actually understand how serious
Mm-hmm.
this conversation is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
really hard for people to comprehend because
Mm.
if you go in the streets right now and say nuclear weapons or nuclear non-proliferation or disarmament,
Mm-hmm.
they'll look at you like, what are you talking about?
Mm.
Because it's so abstract for
Mm-hmm.
them. It's out of reach.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the
Yeah.
legacy that the Hibakushas will leave for us, it's that lived through experience that they experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
And when they account their stories, it's because they lived through it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think it's up to us to carry those stories forward
Mm-hmm.
so that it does not remain out of distance, but it remains very, very close to our minds, and we just simply never forget
Mm-hmm.
the harm that's caused by
Mm.
nuclear weapons. Um, and now I just wanted to ask you questions around in your work with No Nukes Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
How do you engage with both local and global communities to raise awareness about the risks of nuclear weapons? What strategies have been effective in mobilizing younger people? And how can we foster a more unified youth voice in nuclear disarmament worldwide?
Um, like for us, we are a partner organization of ICANN. So like having
Oh.
a big channel, like information channel, through ICANN was very big help for us.
Mhm,
So yeah, like I guess that was the biggest one. And also like before our Nonix Tokyo was launched, um even in Japan, outside of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, there was very less organization. I mean, very less young organization who works for nuclear disarmament.
mhm,
So I thought I have to make a place or community where young people could work and think for this issue. So yeah, after launching this organization, um, like more than I thought, there was many people, many young who really um consider this issue very well, and like people not from Hiroshima and Nagasaki gathered a lot. So like,
mhm,
in Japan, um, like the situation in Japan is that you mentioned about the nuclear test, but like the atomic
mhm,
bombing in 1945 in Hiroshima and Nagasaki is too big that
mhm,
like we have, like, I guess we have to recognize the nuclear weapons effect more. I mean, the our
mhm,
like in Japan, like mm, when we think about nuclear weapons, we always think about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Like um
mhm,
uh, yeah, if um some people, I mean, people working for this nuclear disarmament, of course, recognize about the nuclear test, but people not working
mhm,
for the anti-nuclear activism, like I guess very
mhm,
less people know about the nuclear test and the effect of nuclear
mhm,
weapons.
mhm,
So
mhm,
yeah, the situation is even Japan is the only country, um only, yeah, atomic bombed country in a war. But
mhm,
yeah, the we have to recognize more about the worldwide hibakusha, and
mhm,
young people working for anti-nuclear activism is getting, like, is increasing, I guess, after our Next Tokyo were launched. So
mhm,
I guess the for the international relationship, ICANN was a big help. And another thing is that there was no community or no organization for young. So after our organization was launched, many young people started gathered together. So yeah, I guess like if there's place where we can work, young people are very eager. So yeah, I do have a big hope for that. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, yeah, me too. I'm very hopeful
Mm-hmm.
that yeah, because I think the way, like right now, I just saw the UN youth group.
Mm-hmm.
They were in Japan,
Yeah, yeah,
they were in
yeah.
Nagasaki and
Mm-hmm.
Hiroshima, which is inspiring to see that there is still uh, active
Yeah, yeah.
participation of
Mm-hmm.
younger generation in these issues. So that means uh, the conversation continues and the
Mm-hmm.
activism continues, and hopefully one day we get to a world where we have zero nuclear weapons.
Mm-hmm.
And just in conclusion, I think Japan said it's going to attend the TPNW meeting, right?
As an observer,
As an observer, yeah.
um, um, it's not yet. It's not
Not yet. I
decided
thought I
yet.
read somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I thought I read it somewhere.
Yeah, after the Hidankyo received Nobel Peace Prize,
In
the
that,
prime
yeah,
minister
yeah.
said they would consider joining the
Mhm.
meeting of the state parties, but it's not
Mhm.
decided yet. Because
Okay,
yeah, it's not decided
yeah.
yet. But
Yeah,
yeah.
so you see something
Mm-hmm.
very positive coming out
Mm-hmm.
of this Nobel Peace Prize win by Hidankyo. And these are the changes or the progress that we want to
Mm-hmm.
see. Just the fact that they are considering it, I think that's a
Mm.
very huge step in itself. So let us wait and see, because the meeting of the state parties, it's next month, right?
Yeah, yeah. But
Yes.
for this, I guess like the I'm not that positive about the Japanese government.
Really?
Yeah, like they always keep saying the different thing. So even
Hmm.
even they said they will consider um
Hmm.
maybe they are just considering. They
Oh.
yeah. So maybe like next March, right? For the third
Mm.
MSP for the TPNW.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, next year.
yeah, but this month they will have a very big election, and I guess the position and the members going to be changed a lot through this election. And after that, I'm not sure
Mm.
about that. What the government would say. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. Well, Suzuka, thanks a lot for this
Yeah.
wonderful
Mm-hmm.
um, discussion. I really um, enjoyed our conversation and the insights that you shared on activism. It's always inspiring to speak to young activists like myself in this field. So I really appreciate the time that you put in this interview. And let's just keep on working hard to make sure that
Yeah.
we reach global zero.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I really regret about my English ability. Like I wanted to talk more. But yeah, I was very it was
No,
very
no worries.
lovely to talk with you. And yes, let's keep
Mm,
work on together
yeah.
for the
Yeah,
work without nuclear weapons. Yeah.
mm, yeah, you don't have to regret anything. It's perfectly fine. I could also say I regret that I don't speak Japanese,
Oh
because that would have been
no
awesome.
no
Yeah,
no.
so it's okay. We communicated. That's all that
Yeah.
matters. And
Mhm.
I can't wait to hopefully one day we'll meet in
Mhm.
person. That would be wonderful. And yeah, thanks once again. I think we can stop the recording now.
Okay.